They really used what was in the books. What's up, guys? Crazy Black 108 here, and I'm back with another video. And today, guys, I'm here to do my first ever review of Star Wars: The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 1, The Marshal, Chapter 9, which is cool because I just continue to call them chapters, not even just based off the season, but continue off where we were at the end of Season 1. For those new to the channel, my name is Adam. I do a lot of shoe review content, and years ago I used to be known for doing shoe reviews, Star Wars content heavily, and anime content heavily. But now, today, I am now finally coming back to my roots, really, and I'm really going to be tackling now in the month of November, even though we're still in October, doing more of the content that I like to do across the board besides just the shoe reviews. But for the people that like shoes and like Star Wars that come watch this, if you like Star Wars and you like Adidas, stay tuned to my channel because you will be seeing some of Star Wars Adidas shoe reviews coming across the course of the next month, along with some of the Mandalorian Star Wars Adidas coming out as well. But can we talk about how they really brought in Cobb Vanth? Like I'm geeked off of that alone, because when, there's been tons of rumors for Season 2 that have come out, and a lot of these rumors have been like, I don't like reading too much into rumors because sometimes they're really not true, sometimes they're really far off base. And, as Ahsoka says about legends, there is a bit of truth in legends. There's a bit of truth in some of those rumors, and in this case, it was totally true. Timothy Olyphant was playing Cobb Vanth, and he was wearing Boba Fett's armor. So spoiler alert for anyone, I should have said that at the beginning of this, but spoiler alert for anyone that hasn't read these novels. But this novel came out in 2015 as a part of the Journey to the Force Awakens novels, and this one came out, I think, during like The Last Jedi, maybe, or somewhere between. Well, actually, they weren't technically a part of those initiatives, but this was a trilogy of books by Chuck Wendig, and these novels told their own story featuring, of course, other characters, but they had these interlude chapters which would then go into different parts of the galaxy. And the interlude chapters on Tatooine was about this exact town that you see in the episode, and about Cobb Vanth, and about how he got the armor with Boba Fett, and all this really cool stuff that at the time I was like, oh, this is really interesting, like, oh, this is where Boba Fett's armor is at. And the thing is I love Star Wars, but not to speak down on the interconnectivity of things. The films we've gotten that have been the trilogy films, being Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker, to me, and I think to a lot of other people, there have been times where it's like, it feels like they're disregarding what is in the novels or in the comics a little bit, even though the whole reason for why they, got rid of all this stuff that you see behind here, and there's a shelf up here that you guys can't really see full stuff. They got rid of all these things. The Legends continuity was to, clean the slate and also to have everything be interconnected better. And that's not to say that I don't think that it is, but the thing that is really interesting to me is the fact that they wouldn't kind of do that sometimes. Like if you watch like Rise of Skywalker, with how they handle Poe. Some people would argue how they handle Poe in The Last Jedi, even based off his comic book. So there's a whole lot of different aspects there that really kind of create this weird, this weird feeling when you're watching this content and you're like, but this kind of feels like it's contradicting this. But you can I like to put, like, as a lot of my friends would say, my Star Wars PR hat on and be like, well, technically if you do look at it like this and you do it like this and you view it from this point of view, it makes sense and works out, and it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So the thing that I find really interesting with this is that they really did bring in Cobb Vanth, and he really does have Boba's Mandalorian armor. And that's very cool. But so let's just kind of run through a quick, breakdown of the episode. What was really cool, I thought, was that, the episode starts off with a lot of stuff that we saw from the trailer, with the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and the child are on this planet looking for information. He's looking for more Mandalorians to help him find and track down the child's homeworld, to find, to bring him to his people. The argument's still up in the air. Do his people mean the Jedi, or do they mean the species? When he got to Tatooine and he talks about, I can't remember the character's name. I'm forgetting her name, but the one that's there in Mos Eisley, she talks about like, oh, I've never seen any thing like him, you know, species-wise. So, you know, it could still be species, could still be Jedi. You know, that's kind of still up in the air, but we'll see. You know, we got a whole season's worth of episodes coming, right? So the thing that is interesting is he goes there, he's going to try to get more information, and of course you have that little scene from the trailer where they all, you know, hold him out at gunpoint, and then he's like, you know, he has to fight his way out of it, which is cool. It's cool watching the Mandalorian fight because it's just like, I don't know, there's something more visceral about, well, it's always going to be more visceral when you're watching someone fight, and it's a lot more of, you know, hand-to-hand combat instead of like a lightsaber or something. Love lightsabers, don't get me wrong, but you know, it was just very, very cool. And so he heads to Tatooine, goes to the only town that, you know, that there is thought to be a Mandalorian at, and he gets there, and it turns out to be Cobb Vanth wearing Boba's armor. And they are at a disagreement about it. You know, he wants to get the armor back because, like, obviously the Mandalorian is very, you know, no one else should be having their stuff. You know, it's that whole thing. So basically, though, they end up striking a deal because there's a crate dragon that's been attacking the town, and they strike a deal that, you know, we work together to take down this crate dragon. I'll give you the armor. We'll call it even. And what's really interesting about this is this is our first time in canon seeing a crate dragon, which is dope. Hanging out with Tusken Raiders again more and hearing Din speak the language with them and communicate with them was really cool. Going to a Tusken Raider camp was cool. I kind of got my hopes up there for like a moment. They're like, oh, they're pulling in so much EU stuff. Yo, wouldn't it be kind of dope if this if this episode also happens to pull in some of the, like, you see like the there's stuff in the comics where they show that the Tuskens are scared of Vader, because one, Vader goes back to Tatooine and does some stuff after he finds out about Luke and all those other things. But then also too, there's just, you know, that whole connection there would have been kind of cool to see something. But I was getting my hopes up a little for like a moment too soon, but that's, you know, fine. It was cool seeing them all communicate and work together, and then also because the Tuskens had attacked that settlement before, and with them doing that, there was a lot of tension already between there, but the people came together for a common goal to try to take down the crate dragon. And my favorite thing from a filmmaking aspect of this episode is that I'm pretty sure that they used an IMAX camera. I'm not 100% positive, but whenever, it's like when you watch a Christopher Nolan film and then the aspect ratio suddenly changes. That's what happened in this episode, but it was so well done to where the letterbox just slowly recedes as the crate dragon is coming towards camera and it fills up the entire frame. That was dope. And that entire sequence was done that way. And I loved, as you know, the end of it, you know, they're leaving, and just talk about the aspect ratio again for a moment. It switches back to the regular aspect ratio as he's riding off in the speeder bike, and you see the twin suns, but then it's the pull back to reveal there's a guy watching him, and it's none other than Boba Fett. Now, I know there will be some websites that will put out think pieces and be like, oh, is that really Boba Fett? Or is that, you know, just another clone trooper? Or maybe, you know, maybe this is actually, you know, Rex here. Because, you know, there's the clickbaity, you know, articles that will pose that question, and they'll straight up be like, no, but it's probably Boba Fett. And I would bet all money that it is Boba Fett. It has to be. Tamira Morrison back. Super dope. And what's interesting to me, and the part that I want to point out, is that when you hear him, he still has the sound effects of the spurs when he's walking. But I don't feel like I remember hearing that at all with Cobb Vanth at all. So if that's the case, that means that Boba saved Fennec Shan. And you know, the other thing though too is that just that whole potential that she could still be alive, I guess, is still up in the air. Are we going to be on Tatooine to start our next episode? I don't know, but it's very cool to see that we officially have confirmation that Boba Fett's alive now in canon, which is cool. He looks all scarred up. It's like, it's a pretty dope feeling, man. But that whole IMAX sequence I'm gonna call it that because it's early. Episode was aired. It got online here not too long ago, and I just now recorded my video and stuff. I don't know what time today this will get out because I have this video to get out and a shoe review to get out today. But just that whole sequence was so cool and so well shot. I love seeing the two of them fight. I love the little Easter egg to hitting Cobb's jetpack, so he ends up doing the same thing that Boba did. With getting, blasting off like he did at Starlight Pit. What's interesting too is the whole fact that I don't remember historically in Legends or anything if a crate dragon was capable of eating a Sarlacc, because that's pretty crazy to think about. It's like, oh, there's no such thing as an empty Sarlacc nest. It's like, well, there is if you eat one. It's like, damn, okay, it's pretty cool. Also, I really think I never would have thought I wanted to see more of the Tusken Raiders culture, but really humanizing them and showing just it's just so kind of cool. It's one of those things that I just don't expect. Other things that probably Easter egg spots I want to go back and watch is I want to go back and watch the sequences at the start of the episode and the fighting pits, because I can always see someone with the same helmet on as Constable Zuvio, which is the same thing that we saw in season 1 on Navarro. So that's kind of cool. But then the other thing too is on the child, when they're walking on the walls, there's graffiti, and I can see the rebel, the Firebird emblem, the rebel insignia. I think I saw some Imperial stuff. I couldn't tell which way it was leaning though. So that's something I do want to go back and look at and see. But I plan on doing also these breakdown videos, or not breakdown videos, but these reviews and thoughts on these episodes with a couple buddies every week. Maybe the same people every week, maybe someone different. But the mainstay will be myself at least. But yeah, it was super cool, man. Just watching an hour, almost an hour of Star Wars live action content is something that I don't think I'm ever going to stop being wowed over on a week to week basis. That's the coolest thing about this to me, is that you watch this and it's damn, this is live action Star Wars. It looks great, acting is great, story, themes, there's no place where it's skipped over in any detail. Something else too, and my head canon, I'll say, of set interactions is that Favreau directed this episode, right? And I didn't look to see who wrote it. He maybe have written this episode too. I know for sure he directed this episode though. And what was interesting to me is, I think back to, if you have watched any of the, is it called Archive, or it's probably the documentary series they did I think it was 6 or 8 episodes of, covering the Mandalorian. The cool thing and funny thing I found was when Dave and John were talking with each other about different bits in the story and the writing. Dave made a comment oh yeah, no, it's totally like this moment with I think he said something with C-3PO and this episode and of Star Wars, and Jon Favreau was that's a deep cut for me. It's a deep cut. If I can find that, that's gonna be I'm gonna use that as a meme throughout the rest of my videos going forward, because I love it. Because that's a deep cut for me. Because as a Star Wars fan, I'm sitting here going yeah, Dave. And I'm not saying that Favreau's not, but as the super fan in a sense that's want to drown himself in as much Star Wars media as possible. It's oh yeah, I get that. But for other people, it definitely is no, that's cool, but that's a deep cut for me, So I just imagine in the story meetings and for them writing, season 2, and Favreau's really, and probably this just goes back to actually season 1 and the writing of it. But Favreau's okay, I really finally gonna get to do the episode where we show Boba Fett still alive and all this other stuff. And I have these thoughts and ideas, and it's oh yeah, but we got this. There's actually this guy called Cobb Vanth that's he's got the armor currently, so we gotta find a way to get the armor off of him. But he's a cool character, so we don't want to kill him yet. So we want to keep him alive, but get the armor off of him somehow, so that we can eventually give it back to Boba, because it's the Mandalorian. I'm just imagining in the meeting of oh well, okay, cool, this is a cool character to use. And that's my thing to me, why I love the Star Wars expanded universe whether it was the old Legends or the current EU that we have, is that it does really expand upon the story, and it really does build upon different elements that are throughout the different parts of the universe. And what's cool now, at post the Disney purchase, is that there is a lot of ability to using the story group and using these creators to really kind of pull in different pieces that fit well for the story, and that could be, you know, entertaining and engaging, you know? So it's just super cool. That's one of like the best things I think about Star Wars as a multimedia storytelling, I don't want to say initiative, but storytelling machine, in a sense, would probably be a good way to put it. And yeah, so just super cool. I really never thought these books, like that little bit of like in those interludes, would really come full circle into the into something like the Mandalorian TV show. But this is dope. And for me, what I want to say is, like, if this is telling about where our Star Wars storytelling is going in terms of Mandalorian, the Cassian Andor series, the Kenobi series, my mind is just kind of blown. And even like doing the flashbacks, which that's the only thing I will say, it's been a while since I read these books. So I would be curious to see how much in that flashback really does line up with the stuff in the novels. But from what I remember, broad strokes, it's pretty accurate, pretty on point, which is cool. Because for me, the one thing that's made me think about now is that the Kenobi series is taking place between episodes 3 and 4, right? They've done a handful of stories involving Obi-Wan on Tatooine during that time in the Star Wars Marvel comic book line. And, you know, I wouldn't mind to see some of those stories either A, revisited and retreaded, but in live action. But I'd be curious to see if they do that. Or, I'm excited for the Kenobi series because I'm really curious to see what route the path of the story goes for the, it's going to be a limited series, so 6 episodes, I think. Either way, man, it's about to be a fun 8 weeks of new Star Wars content. And it's just refreshing because we haven't had any, like, new Star Wars content in a visual format since, The Rise of Skywalker, I think. Yeah, because we haven't had any new series. Resistance maybe ended a little bit after that. So you have Resistance, and yeah, I don't know. 2020's been a long year, man. It feels like the time goes by fast, but like the year itself has just been dragging. So from me to you, I'm Crazy Black 108 saying thank you guys for watching this video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Star Wars content and things of the like. And there's also, if you like anime, that's something I will probably be tackling sooner or later. I will potentially also be tackling Star Wars action figure reviews on this channel as well. I have, you know, Black Series figures to like open up and, you know, review. I have some 3 3/4 inch figures. So there's a whole bunch of stuff Star Wars wise for you guys Star Wars fans that want to see as well too. I used to run my Crazy Star Wars Fan 108 account, but I just don't. I want to keep everything all together because I want to get, you know, more of the fans that are on this channel that really do like the content to have more options for stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys probably sometime later this week or weekend to talk more about this episode, and then I will see you guys next week for the following episode too. This is the only time you check in. So until then, may the force be with you always. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Okay, wait, so we talk about deep cuts, right? So let's just run something back real quick. Legends, right? Okay, Legends. Cobb Vanth, cool, we like him. How about Joe Cass? Anybody remember Joe Cass? If you remember Joe Cass, comment down below. That's all I want to say. See you guys next week. Appreciate you. May the force be with you always. Okay, I'm out. I'm done. I'm done. Joe Cast.